Not war, not war. Just peace.
Donald Trump once again created a dramatic stage that shocked the world. In an official statement at the Oval Office, Trump openly admitted that he had authorized the CIA to carry out a covert operation in Venezuela. This move immediately triggered global uproar, considering that CIA operations are usually classified and rarely disclosed to the public. Nevertheless, Trump's shocking statement did not appear in a vacuum. He said that this operation was part of the war on drugs. Just days earlier, a series of military incidents had heightened tensions between Washington and Caracas. Venezuelan speedboats in the Caribbean Sea were destroyed by American missiles in a dramatic operation claimed to be a narcotics enforcement mission. The Pentagon even released video footage of exploding boats as evidence, although officials provided no details of any real drug evidence found on board. Not only that, 3 B-52 bombers belonging to the U.S. Air Force were seen flying for hours over waters near Venezuelan coast. The B-52s, capable of carrying nuclear weapons, were deliberately deployed to circle off the coast of Caracas as a show of pressure, urging Maduro to step down from power. For many observers, the roar of the B-52s over the Caribbean Sea brought back memories of the Cold War era, as if warning that Washington was ready to take major military action if necessary. Trump argued that this open move was necessary because he viewed Venezuela as the root of America's security problems. He claimed that Maduro's regime was sending waves of criminals and narcotics into the United States. Trump added that since the U.S. had successfully tightened maritime smuggling routes, the focus was now shifted to land routes. In Trump's mind, the CIA had now become the hidden spearhead to tackle this threat across Latin America. Since early September 2025, tensions between the U.S. military and Venezuela had been heating up. Trump, who had only been re-inaugurated as president a few months earlier, ordered a massive military buildup in the southern Caribbean, right at Venezuela's doorstep. At least 8 U.S. Navy warships, including helicopter carriers and Aegis-guided missile destroyers, were sent to the Caribbean Sea around Venezuela. Around 10,000 U.S. Marines were deployed to Latin America that year as part of a massive military buildup unseen since the 1989 invasion of Panama. The amphibious ships USS Iwo Jima and USS Fort Lauderdale were also reported to be carrying 2,200 Marines, a force large enough to land troops if necessary. Behind this military pressure, Trump's main narrative was the war on drugs. The Trump administration accused Venezuela under Maduro of being a key channel for cocaine and deadly synthetic opioids entering the United States. Trump accused Maduro of being directly involved with drug cartels. He often referred to Venezuela as a narco-state, a drug-trafficking nation, and labeled Maduro's regime a cartel spreading death in America. However, as this campaign intensified, a major question arose. Was Venezuela truly such a major factor in America's drug crisis, or was this war on drugs merely a cover for another purpose? That is why Trump's so-called war on drugs narrative was viewed skeptically by many across Latin America. Beyond the official rhetoric of fighting narcotics and promoting democracy, many analysts believed there were other agendas driving Trump's aggression toward Venezuela, namely America's long-standing geopolitical ambitions in the Western Hemisphere, particularly its desire to control Venezuela's abundant natural resources. This suspicion is not baseless. The history of U.S.-Venezuelan relations and current political dynamics provides strong indications. The United States has a long record of meddling in Latin America for its own interests. Since the Monroe Doctrine of 1823, which declared Latin America as the United States' sphere of influence, countless interventions have followed, from the Spanish-American War in 1898, the early 1900s Caribbean occupations, the CIA-backed coups in Guatemala, 1954, Cuba, 1961, Chile, 1973, to support for brutal anti-communist regimes in Central America during the Cold War. The motives were often a combination of ideology and economics, to contain communism while protecting the interests of American corporations. As is widely known, Latin America is rich in natural resources and has long been considered vital to the prosperity and security of the United States. Thus, it's no surprise that many people in Latin America view Washington's moral slogans with deep skepticism, as they often conceal the real interests of Uncle Sam. Venezuela itself is no stranger to U.S. interference. The most notable example was the brief 2002 coup that ousted Hugo Chavez for 47 hours. Declassified CIA documents revealed that the agency had prior knowledge of the coup plans by the military opposition, and several senior Bush administration officials quietly gave a green light to the plot. The Guardian reported that Venezuelan coup leaders had been in close contact with the White House for months before the event. The Bush administration immediately supported the interim government of Pedro Carmona, which took power after Chavez's arrest. Although the coup failed when pro-Chavez forces intervened, the U.S. involvement was difficult to deny. At that time, Chavez had shifted further to the left, nationalizing parts of Venezuela's oil industry and replacing company executives with his loyalists. In the 2002 coup case, the state oil company was believed to be a central factor, because the first act of Carmona's coup regime was to reverse Chavez's policies and begin re-privatizing the oil sector. This was a clear signal that Venezuela's oil was the main prize. Besides oil, Venezuela possesses other tempting natural wealth. The country is blessed with abundant gold reserves in its southern region. In 2016, Maduro opened the Arco Minero del Orinoco, a 112,000 square kilometers, or more than 12% of the nation's territory, for the mining of gold, coltan, and other valuable minerals. His government claimed Venezuela held the world's largest untapped reserves of gold and coltan. The value of its underground gold was estimated at thousands of tons, with potential profits reaching trillions of dollars. However, due to sanctions and mismanagement, these mines fell into the hands of illegal armed groups and gold mafias. Venezuelan gold became a black market commodity. Maduro reportedly sold gold bullion from the nation's reserves abroad at heavy discounts to obtain hard currency amid sanctions. Venezuela's Amazon forests were devastated by illegal mining, while profits flowed into the pockets of officials and criminals. For foreign powers, these mineral riches were highly tempting. On one side, mining companies from Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, and even Russia had quietly signed deals with the regime. On the other, the Trump administration accused Maduro's illegal gold trade of funding dictatorship and imposed additional sanctions to block it. In essence, gold had become a hidden battlefield, one of the motives behind America's desire for a new regime that could manage these resources legitimately under its influence rather than under its adversaries. Ideological and geopolitical factors cannot be ignored. Venezuela, under Chavez and later Maduro, positioned itself as the last bastion of the Bolivarian Revolution in South America, especially after the decline of leftist movements across the continent. For Washington's hawks, overthrowing Maduro meant extinguishing the last spark of anti-American socialism in the region. And this was not merely ideological. The existence of an anti-U.S. regime in the Western Hemisphere was viewed as a symbolic threat to American dominance. especially after Venezuela forged strong alliances with Washington's global rivals. Russia, for example, had strategic interests in oil investments, arms sales, and possible military access. Meanwhile, China had lent more than $50 billion to Venezuela since 2007, repaid through oil and infrastructure projects. Iran, too, used Venezuela to challenge the United States in its own backyard, sending oil tankers in defiance of sanctions in 2020, establishing small drone factories, and reportedly training Venezuelan forces. To the U.S., these alliances created an extra-hemispheric influence in Latin America, something Washington has always sought to prevent. Thus, replacing the Venezuelan government with one aligned to U.S. interests would push back Russian, Chinese, and Cuban influence in the region, reaffirming American dominance